What the fuck is happening, people? Welcome to the General Banter Podcast. Today, we're recording on a Monday ahead of Tuesday's release. Squirt, squirt. It's the 4th of May, guys. May the 4th be with you. Someone with a lisp decided that would be a good date to be like, May the 4th be with you. And that's a Star Wars joke. And it's just one of those things that has went over my head, guys. You know, you gotta get in there early with certain things. You gotta get in there when you're young and watch things like that. Maybe it might even be a generation before. You know, maybe people's dads are like, I used to love this shit. Went to see it in the cinema, you know what I mean? When the guy was shoveling coal into the fucking thing. You know, flicks. Went to the flicks, man. Went to the talkie movies. And I missed it. You know, I remember going to school, people had fucking Star Wars things and everything. May the 4th, you know, everyone was going crazy. And then one day I flicked it on and there's a man inside a bin walking through the desert, pretending to be a robot. And I was like, I can't get on board with this. Can't get on board with the fucking guy going, Ninsk, Ninsk, Ninsk. I'm a robot. No thanks. Not a big sci-fi guy. I'm learning as I get older, but the fucking Star Wars thing, nah. Even tried recently, you know, I was lured in with the fucking Disney package. Like everybody was. It's lockdown. People dangle a carrot in front of your face. Like I guarantee you, and this isn't a long walk to the well, you know, around the block to plug my Patreon, but I guarantee people have paid for Netflix, paid for Disney, probably went, oh shit, that's available on Apple TV. Got the Apple TV, got everything, and then went, I'm just going to watch Geddis' special on net. Oh, near fucked it up myself. Imagine it was on Netflix. No, it's on it's on Patreon. Patreon.com/General Banter Podcast, where I should have done extra podcasts this week. But I was sort of tied in with doing that. I'm hoping 2 full video comedy specials sort of buys me a couple of days to record more podcasts. I'm actually recording this podcast, which is going to be the general release. And then I'm going to record another one with Maureen later on. We're going to have a separate podcast, and that's going up on the Patreon, which I've asked her to do for 3-4 days, and she kept turning me down. And now that I'm about to record this podcast, once I'd fucking give up, and I was like, fuck this, you can't rely on anybody. Then she texts me and goes, we can record a podcast later. And I was like, can we? Post-lockdown divorce. Oh my God. Fucking hell. But anyway. Yeah. People are... What the fuck was what was the point of me even starting this whole fucking thing? I don't know. Oh yeah, Star Wars. We were lured in by the Disney thing, you know, the fucking tiny Yoda. It's wee cute face. I was like, wow, I love it. I'm going to watch this Mandalorian show. I hear Bill Burr's in it. And I watched about 2 episodes. Didn't see Bill Burr yet. Couldn't figure out what was going on. I was like, this is shit, bro. You know, he just turns up, murders a couple of fucking little dwarves in like they're in their fucking dressing gown, and he's like, and they're like, oh, dying. And I was like, what am I watching here? Also, it's space, and you're like traveling about on a planet on a big fucking rhino thing. Get a scooter. Hey, Mandalorian, get a fucking Vespa. Imagine he was just like, I'm the Mandalorian. And then just goes, and he's just going across the desert with that. He's already wearing a helmet. He already looks kind of stupid. Who the fuck's this? There's my new phone with a face recognition. Doesn't recognize my face because it's fat. You know what? Just imagine that. I'm the no, that stupid voice he's got. I'm the Mandalorian, and then he gets on a fucking Sidewinder. Do you remember those? Do you remember a Sidewinder? I was dying to get one of those, and then someone on my street got one, and I was like, gives a fuck, I got that there. And honestly, I don't know whether it was a weight issue. Sidewinder. That's right. It's based on a Sidewinder snake, which can be found. Why is there no? There's no evidence of this on the internet at all. Excuse me. Why can I not find this? This is like when fucking Will Smith's wife used to be in a metal band and it got stripped off the internet. You can't find. Okay, there's nothing there. Anyway, there used to be a thing called a Sidewinder, and it was like two pads joined with a little stick in between, and you like your feet went like this, and you were able to like go along the ground. But yeah, I could just imagine the Mandalorian just being like fucking.
I just killed a lot of these midgets in this fucking in their house coats. Gotta leave now.
And he stands on the thing. He just takes off.
He's like, I maybe should have thought of a better vehicle to move on sand and dust, other than this 90s invention.
There's a lot of dumb shit on here coming up. There's a guy on a thing, self-propelled orbital skates. Whatever, bro. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter how clever it is. When Colin Geddis gets on it, it's not moving anywhere. The amount of, all my mates were into skateboarding, and I was like, let me get into skateboarding. What am I doing? Kickflips, bro? Let me attempt that. Through a board. Snapping boards all over the place. And I was like, right, okay, this obviously isn't my sport. I'd fallen on my elbow so many times that literally to this day, there's a fucking hole in it. I can finger my elbow hole. Write that down as the title of the podcast. Finger my elbow hole. Now that's interesting because that has brought up more memories in my head of that's the sort of thing. If you were getting real freaky with it, you'd be like, finger my elbow hole. People get into all sorts of weird sex acts. Who's this? People get into all sorts of weird shit. Bagpiping. Fuck someone in the armpit. I remember a mate of mine who was in school who is now a doctor, who at the time you're like, this guy's going to be a doctor, and you're like, I don't believe it for a second. He was working somewhere, or he knew someone was working somewhere on placement as a placement student or trainee doctor type thing. And they were like, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen? And some old gay dude come in who'd had one of those like shit bags that you get. Stoma? Is that what it's called? I'm about to chunder up my breakfast. Stoma? Is what you get. Yeah, you get the old shit bag. And yes, basically, dear. Did they bring a bit of your gut out through your belly? No, it's awful. It's hellish, I'm sure. But let me adjust here. Yeah, they came in. The guy's like, yeah, you've got syphilis or something, or gonorrhea around your stoma. Stoma. Because he got bored of fucking dudes in the butt and decided to take the bag off for a second, fuck him in the stome, which was kind of like in your side, so you could be going about your day. I'm just doing the dishes, Thon, if you want to fuck my stoma. And the guy's like, he's fucking trying to fucking write a letter. Will you go easy on my arm? I'm trying to do another task here. What? Now, we have went 0 to 60 here real quick. I literally don't even know what I was fucking talking about there. I need someone. What do you call those people having court, just telling you all the shit? But yeah, basically I was too fat to skateboard, I wasn't too fat, I was just chunky guy, you know what I mean? Just fucking chunky forever. It wasn't, and I would, people would go through phases. All the lads were like, other fellas that I knew were like, oh, I'm going to maybe, I've got the Extreme Sports channel. I'm going to move into the rollerblade world. Someone got some high-end rollerblades. Some guys I knew were really fucking good. What that means in the rollerblade world is you're willing to hurl your body off a fucking school roof in rollerblades, and that's it, really. So, yeah. And I fucked up BMXs. I love BMXs, you know, as a product. I look at them and I go, what a lovely little bike. You know, what a lovely wee thing. They're nice. But I don't know how many fucking BMXs I got on. And just the sheer torque that the big man can deliver. Many times I get on it and just fuck. You know, you'd shove your foot down to take off. Bust that chain in half. And you could be like, yeah, that's just because you're a fat bastard. Bro, bit of torque involved too. You know what I mean? Snap that thing. I done it as an adult too. You know? Maureen's dad had acquired an old, it was a fucking decent mountain bike, like a specialised mountain bike off someone a long time ago. And I was like, sure, fire a fucking chain on that and we'll, you know, get it pumping again. That's not a bad bike. Get new tires on, you know, do a couple of things to it. Literally threw my leg over it, went to take off, snapped the fucking thing again. I'm like, bro, you can't deal with the fucking sheer horsepower of my legs. And it's the power of one horse, and it's a Shetland pony. Got coffee on my face. It's all good. Anyway, we've covered it all. Yoda, stomas, skateboards. Play the intro. Yeah! Fuck me.
The General Banter Podcast with Colin Geddis.
Right about here, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to get yourself and your soul together. This man will make your liver quiver. This man will make your bladder splatter. Let's all welcome the world's godfather of soul,
Colin Geddis.
It's Geddis, actually.
Geddis.
Geddis.
Geddis. Geddis. Geddis.
Fuck you. There we have it. I mean, you get left alone all week, and you lose your mind a wee bit. You do, don't you? You just. It's like you've saved up all your conversation, and now I'm talking to a camera, and I'm like, "Hey, Stomas, skateboarding, Yoda, what's the crack? I'm wearing a beanie. You know, the general beanies. I'm sweating. These should be on sale. Have I made a website? Absolutely not, because when it rains, it pours, guys. Corona. It all comes in waves. We moved house safely. Don't worry. No internet in the new house. BT aren't sending people out. Now we're stuck with a 4G hub, which might as well be, you know, a fucking used sanitary towel lying there getting me 4G. Useless! Why did I have to go so extreme with that? Because I'm angry, you know. We'd got ourselves to the point where, we're working from home. It's all good. All I need to do is pop down here, do a wee podcast. And now that has become a fucking disaster. You know, and people are tweeting me, where's this podcast? And then I'm tweeting from other angles. You've got content for listeners. I don't know where I'm at, guys. I'm losing my fucking mind. Okay. It's great. It's great stuff. It's great stuff. There's plenty of other podcasts out there, guys. You know, you listen to people who are fucking chilling. Listen to Aaron McCann's podcast the other day. He's by himself, loving it. You know, wakes up at fucking 5 at night, does whatever, records his podcast in the middle of the night. No pressure. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. We're over here with a baby screaming, trying to fucking draw the internet out of the air like fucking Tesla. Unbelievable. But it's difficult without internet in the lockdown, I must say. And that's not even a porn related statement. You know, it's just any day-to-day shit. You can't even pull the trigger on, you say, oh, see a funny thing, let me send that. Oh, here's a video, let me send it real quick. And it's just slow because you're in the country and there's no 4G and you're like, come on, man, you're taking the sting out of my meme game here. My meme game ain't strong anymore. Trying to fire things off quickly, it's not happening. It's the first week for a while I've been like, okay, you got to sort of like keep an eye on the old mental health whenever you're during this lockdown, because I said this to Maureen's sister earlier. I was like, when you've nothing to do, like nothing gets done. You know, your day-to-day life and in normal life, there's an element of momentum going on. You know, you get up, you got to do this. You got to be out of the house by a certain time. You got to turn up at your work. You got to get stuff done. You know, even though you're fucking knackered and you don't want to get up and go to work, it gives you energy once you're up and about and whatever, and you can come home and see when you don't have you don't have to do things. Their days just disappear. Like, we got a big fucking diary. And I said to Maureen, we're going to have to start writing shit in this diary. And it's broken down into hour-long slots. I'm like, we're going to have to write in what the fuck we're doing all day. Otherwise, we're just going to get up, feed the baby. He'll fall asleep. Fall asleep? You'll fall asleep again. And then it's just this cycle of, oh, he needs fed. Oh, I need fed. And then you eat again. And then you're tired. And I'm going to go to sleep again. And you're like, I've slept 7 times today and done fuck all. And then I'm getting it, things on the internet going, where's your podcast? And I'm like, oh, it's really hard for me to do a podcast. Which is the weirdest statement ever. You're like, it's hard for me to do a podcast because I'm doing nothing. Isn't that weird? You turn up and you're like, well, I've nothing really to talk about other than I used to snap skateboards. Shout out to Puddle of Mud. Cover of the year. That guy. Fuck me, like. Man, we got one last chance to show our skills online. What do? Let's pay homage to one of our favourite artists and ruin our fucking career. Yes. Unless they did it deliberately, in which case I'm like, respect, because fame and infamy is the same thing in this day and age. Look forward to me playing this every podcast for the next 7 years. Absolutely empty my stoma. Fuck me, that's terrible. Jesus Christ. But yeah, you gotta, during this lockdown, man, you gotta give yourself some fucking, you gotta plan some stuff out and actually stick to it, because it's the only way you're gonna feel good. Because see, like, we had a couple of hangover, I had a hangover there. You see, people, they're talking about, there's a lot of fatigue around this corona thing. People they're like, it's lockdown. It's like when you're on a diet, you're pumped for it for like a week, and then the second week you're kind of like, oh, I'm still going for it. I've lost 2 pounds. And then the third week you're like telling people you're still on the diet, but the whole thing's gone out the window. That's the fucking lockdown. It's like, we're locked down, we're washing our hands, we're fucking being safe. And then once you're away from people for a while and you don't actually see anybody affected in your fucking immediate family or friends by coronavirus, you're like, is it real though? And then you just start to let it slip, and then before you know it, you get people on the fucking beach in Florida, and there's like 100,000 of them going, we think that it was made up, even though there's like literally 60,000 people dead or something. But you do get a bit of, it's like, that's why there's ads on the TV trying to remind you, like, please fucking stay in. And I think we had a few drinks with Maureen's family. I mean, this is the thing. We all live very close proximity. Before the lockdown, her mum and sisters were off to help Maureen with the baby in the hospitals and everything. So before the lockdown, no one had been anywhere or near work for like 3 weeks. Then the lockdown, then everyone sort of quarantined themselves for like 2-3 weeks. And then slowly but surely we were able to have a chat. And how many weeks ago was that now? Fucking 7? You're talking like 7-8 weeks of doing and going nowhere. And you're like, right, I'm sure we can fucking sit around a fire outside and have beers. And by fuck did we have beers. I didn't know I had that fucking loaded in my system. I was having a few, I was having vodka and oranges, orange juice, not just like vodka with fucking oranges, but like, I felt like John Bonham. I remember seeing a Led Zeppelin thing, and they were like, John would order an octuple screwdriver, and he'd have 8 fucking vodkas and a splash of orange. That was me. You pour the first one. I don't drink vodkas, and it's sneaky. I need to feel that I'm drinking. That's why I like like Czech beers and things that are pretty harsh tasting, whiskey, things like that. Not like, let me pour Tropicana into this fucking nail polish remover, and then it just fucking, whatever weird shaped glass it was. You do that thing where you're like, whatever the dimensions are in the glass, like the bottom of the glass is really wide and fat, and then you're like, oh, that looks like it's a shot, but then it's actually 4 shots wide, and then it narrows up at the top. Bro, things got stupid. Drank some beers. We sat out around our new fire pits, and I don't remember much at all. Went the shotgun of beer, thought that was a fucking good idea. All these beers have been Dettol wiped. didn't taste good. Stabbed the fucking thing and it ejaculated right in my face. And I was like, oh, this is why I'm 33 and I don't live in the Holy Lands. I'm in the ghetto. Ra-ta-ta-ta. But the hangover the next day, and I'll tell you what would put you off drinking. I know people are like, oh, it's the lockdown. You could get fucking shit-faced. But the genuine thing that would put me off is you can't and this is such fat boy chat, you can't eat what you want the next day. You know, normally you're like, and we don't usually eat that much shit. It's usually something like, oh, wouldn't you love like, whatever, we'll make like a fried rice or we'll go whatever. So the odd time it's like, oh, I think I need a McDonald's today. Or fuck it, we're all getting a Chinese. Or we'll drive and get some Thai food or whatever it is. You can do it normally. But when you have a hangover and it's a stinker in the middle of all this, by the way, Maureen wasn't pissed. She was looking after our child just in case anyone's... But, Daddy had to stay up for another 4 or 5 hours drinking beer as if the vodka didn't do the damage. And what the fuck was it? Oh, yeah. You wake up and you're like, oh, I've got a really bad hangover. What is there to eat? And you're like, well, nothing, because we can't go out. So you can have toast, followed by... I mean, I raided the freezer. We stocked up a load of frozen stuff. You got a full hangover and you're eating like a fucking... Like a kid's meal you'd get in a cafe. Oh, I'm dying. What is there? Frozen chips. Frozen chips and fish fingers. And you're like, okay. But, I did to that what I do with everything. Spiked the shit out of it with 12 sauces. Maureen has said that to me before. She's like, you're the only guy that I know will season a cup of soup. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, of course. You know what I mean? You can turn it into something wonderful. But yeah, people are getting fatigued with the old rules, aren't they? They're getting a bit like, how come Tesco's is open, but then I can't work in my business, which, ships out something from one shop and there's only one person works in it, or there's 2 people work in it, or there's a couple work in it. Why can't we do that? I think the food things might be the most dangerous, even though there's a lot of food things open and that's kind of essential. But like, I was in a garage the other week very early in the morning because I knew there'd be no one around. And I was getting a couple of bits. They've got the screens up, I was fucking dripping with hand sand. A lot of people still buying coffee though. I feel like that would be the biggest fucking red flag of all. Going to the coffee machine, that blue fucking machine that gives you the nice foamy cappuccinos, getting a coffee. I'm like, I feel like if you're going to get a fucking cold or something, pre-lockdown, that's where you would get it. Some guy just fingering the shit. When you go to lift the lid and like 10 of them stick together and you're like, fuck, not that one. Lick your fingers back in. Fuck. No one's doing that shit. No one's smoking weed or whatever. No one's passing around fucking joints anymore. If you ask Mickey Bartlett, there's a well-known comedy promoter who, I don't know if he was a regular smoker or used to smoke, but if he had a couple of drinks, he'd smoke and he'd be like, can I get a cigarette there? And Mickey opened the fucking 20 deck where they're all packed in tight and he couldn't quite pinch one to get it out. And the guy licked his fingers and just fucking yanked the cigarette out, covering them all in fucking spit. All that behaviour's gone now. Fuck that. An ashtray will be like the most, like a biohazard. Like, don't fucking touch that. Do you know how many times the spit is in on that? Absolutely disgusting. But yeah, you feel like people aren't taking it that seriously anymore. Turning up the beaches all over the place. Just giving up on it. Just being like, well, listen, I haven't been ill for 6 weeks, so I'm going straight out. It's weird. And then just fucking stupid. Like, they had to put a warning out to be like, see when you're doing your clap for the carers, when when you go out there, it fucking... Also, what falls... are these essential workers? I mean, I hate to be that guy, but like... if you're like delivering boxes, are you on a same level as like one of those ones with the fucking scars on their face because they're wearing like masks all day, actually treating people with coronavirus? Or do you work for Domino's? What's going on? I have to stand out in the fucking garden and give it all this shit. Which I haven't done. No, I mean, it's pointless. We know the value of fucking NHS in our house. We don't need to stand at the door where nobody hears us. Slapping my bollocks against an arse. Well done, lads. We know the value. But now there's, people are, fucking out clapping each other. People hitting, people are like the fucking guy, the clown from Slipknot with a baseball bat and a beer keg. Hitting the, just getting real fucking crazy with it. One woman's like, hit a pan with a spoon. Next minute, the guy's fucking, just fucking Travis Barker in the garden with all the fucking pans out. Know what I mean? I've drummed before. Lies. Yeah, everyone's fucking trying to outdo each other. And then they're going like, guys, you can't like, you're supposed to be social distancing, and now like 40 of you are in the garden in a drum circle for the carers. You're gonna get the COVID. You're gonna get ronin up just fucking trying to, thinking you're Joey Jordison in your fucking garden with a bin and 2 sticks. You fucking asshole. But like, yeah, they did a big clap for carers like in London, that London Bridge thing, or wherever the fuck that was. And again, you're like, this looks like Glastonbury. Why is there 100,000 people there? Get the fuck inside, you dicks. Stupid, like, people are fucking stupid. And of course, there's an ad for shares. I must look into shares because I keep getting advertised too. And there's 2 ads on this. That's cool. I can't play it. Do you know what? I was going to play this and I've just remembered this is going to be on YouTube. And it ain't happening. So yeah, people are out in the garden thinking they're fucking Ginger Baker and catching the Rona. Outrageous. What other notes have I made here? Finally got my new phone working. Talked about it last week. Got myself one of those 11 fucking Pro jobs. Nice photos, bro. Hopefully take a lot of photos in the next while of the child. Still freak. iCloud still freaks me out. I don't even question it. And there'll be people out there going, you're the type of sheep that they love, the guy that doesn't question anything. And you're like, well, yeah, but like, what are you gonna see if you hack my phone? I'm not a hot chick, people are selecting. I mean, that's why you can go on Google and type in like, oh, I seen a girl on this. What do you call her? Like such and such tits. And then there's like, they've hacked their phone and she's like at home, just like sending photos to her boyfriend or whatever. And you're like, yes, I got to see her tits, which will be referred to as e-rape in the future. And, you're like, yes, got to see titties. And guess what? Once you see titties, over it immediately. How funny is that? I mean, I've read that in a book. I can't remember what book it was, but they're like the percentage of like, what do you call that? Like, serotonin released around it's like 80% of it is just thinking about a thing. Do you know what I mean? So if you were like, man, I want to see her tits, 85% of that is in your brain. And then when you see them, you go, there they are. The mind. Imagine I did a masterclass, one of the, welcome to Colin Geddis's Guide to the Mind. Sometimes you think you want to see a tits, your body and your mind is working together going, I want to see a tits, and then eventually you see a tits, and then we've all seen tits, haven't we? The mind. Join my masterclass where I teach you mainly about tits. Up next, I'm Gordon Ramsay, and I'm making a fucking... Who gives a fuck? You can make this at home. Simply get some lion's mane mushrooms. Where am I going to get those? Gordon, for fuck's sake. I got a packet of button mushrooms and fuck up. What am I talking? What was I talking about? Oh yeah. But yeah, you get the fucking, you get the old iCloud, and then it just fixes itself, and it loads up, and all your shit's back in the phone, and you're like, someone has that right now. Now, I'm not going to get selected. No one's going to hack me because, and I've said this before, they'll go like, the guy is mentally ill, because there is basically 8,500 photos and screenshots of trainers. Not different trainers. He's basically screenshotted various colorways of New Balance and sent them to one guy, Aaron McCann, who hasn't responded yet. You know, I know McCann doesn't get up to fucking 6 in the evening. By the time it's 6 in the evening, he has fucking 700 DMs from me of like, what do you think of these New Balance? What do you think of these New Balance? What do you think of these? All the same shoe, slightly different color. What do you think of these? These ones are the same as this one, but except it's quite rare, so these ones are 300 quid. What do you think of this one? Look at this girl's fat ass. What about these shoes? You're like, the guy... Now, I had a problem, right? Because my phone had like 7,500 photos on it. And my backup was weird, like whatever the backup, and we went to a certain point, and then there was a gap, and then it went up to another point. So what I did was I took the old phone and I was like, I'm just going to airdrop what I need to my new phone. So I went through all the photos of me and Maureen. Anytime we did anything nice, you know, loads of the baby, and I sent them over, and I'm like, my phone had 7,500 photos, and what I transferred was like 2,000. You're like, that's all I need. I don't need this other shit. Reset the phone, wiped it. But not a single dick pic in there. No one's looking at off me. I'm not a famous hot chick. If you're a famous hot chick, I would have a Nokia flip phone, because people are on your fucking phone. Even if you, as a joke, like you're taking a photo of like, oh man, did I sunburn myself? And there's a nipple in there. That'll be online. It's the same, like there's an anonymity with being ugly. No one gives a fuck about you. Like, I watched this thing, and it was one of these, like, they play a bit of fucking piano music. You know, like someone rescues a dog or whatever. When we found him, he was starving, and then they feed it, and then like, it turns out he's a big healthy boy, and he's a pit bull. He's not going to eat anybody. Well, I found this video, and it was the guy was like an ex-addict, and he cuts hair for free on like Skid Row in LA, and he's shaving this guy's face, and the video went viral, I think, because the guy, once they shaved his face, sexy as fuck, real good looking guy, you know what I mean, real angular face. Somehow he was tanned under the beard, nice brown face, you know, probably like half fucking Mexican or something, but like good looking guy. And everyone's like, wow, look at, and the guy's like, man, you got to get off the drugs, man. Look at that face. You look great, man. What are you doing on drugs? Because he's a fucking handsome guy. He had a bit of a cut in his eye because, you know, he'd been in a fight over meth. He's like, what's your drug of choice, man? He was meth. And he goes, man, you got to get off that shit. You got to find your life, man. But what was the fucking, you got to show up for your life. And the guy's like, I know. And he goes, I got a place you can go once you're ready, get you off this shit. And he's like, okay, man, okay. And it made it extra sad because the guy was handsome. Meanwhile, had I turned up homeless to get my face shaved, the guy would have been like, what's your drug of choice? And I'd have went meth. And he'd be like, and then you still haven't lost any weight? Bro, you're exactly where you need to be right now. You fat shit. And there would be no video. It's always the way. It's like, you know, I remember there was a girl. What did she die of? There was someone died suddenly of something. It might have been an allergy or something. It was like something that was on the news, or asthma or something. It was something like pretty freak death in this day and age. And it just made it extra sad because she was banging, man. And you're like, oh man, that's so sad. You know, nut allergy or something. You're looking at it going, speaking of nuts, bro, just nutted in my pants. It's way more of a shame when you're good looking. isn't it? Like that guy probably fucking cut hair all day on different dudes. And we're like, fucking whatever. Can't believe I'm doing this bullshit. No, what are you doing after this? Meth? I thought so. You get to the one fucking handsome dude, looks like the guy that's like going out with Jennifer Aniston. Like, man, this is a travesty. What's a guy like you doing on meth? You should be out there slaying puss. And instead you're just, what do you do with meth? Smoke meth? Inject meth? How do you take meth? Ask the guy from Tiger King. He's like, we're supposed to put it in your veins, but I like to just fucking smash the rocks up with my teeth till I got no teeth left. Son of a bitch. But yeah, it's guys like me, average looking, fucking just gross guys that are just gonna, no one cares about, you know what I mean? No one cares. If I was super famous, there'd be no fucking paparazzi in the bush or anything. They'd be like, we know what the crack is. But people know the crack with me, you know? Even on a podcast level, people have new podcasts. People are fucking getting excited about it, listening about it. Even in the podcast world. And I might well have one of the biggest in the country. People are just like, let's just get us. Like, fuck, we know the crack there. Paparazzi would be like, what are we going to do? Turn up and he's fucking in his garden pretending to do kettlebells? Who gives a fuck about that? Just no basic bitch Geddis. That's the name of the podcast. It's been a slow week, guys. Don't tag me in 5Ks. Fuck off. Unbelievable. What else I want to talk about? We you see, I've done this thing now where I was supposed to be recording the screen so that I could sync it and put these videos up, and there was a guy at one stage was like, man, you gotta put the videos on screen, and I was like, I would love to, however, it's like, it's I could put use another clip and then just get wiped off YouTube, so I nearly might just post the links under it or something. I don't know. I watched Normal People, which I'll not talk too much about now, but I'll stick it on the Patreon podcast some more, and we'll talk more about it on that. Jesus Christ, was it good? People were talking about it, and I'm I hate those cunts that are always like, I'm one of the few people, like anytime something gets good or talked about a lot, they're like, I refuse to watch that. We watched it. It was good. It was fucking good. I'll not go too much into it now. I'll talk about it with Maureen, but fucking frustrating, man. And very real. Very fucking Irish and real. Just that idea of him going away and coming back to his hometown and fucking, there's a lot of like toxic masculinity vibes going about in it, where it's like, he fucking loves this girl, but he's scundered about it for some fucking reason. And there's a famous quote, which Aaron McCann, I don't know whether he said it on a podcast or I repeated it or what the fuck happened, but he said, where's all the dead on sluts at? And you're like, great question. Because, most people with a bit of self-respect, they're like, whatever. And then you need someone who, used to fist fight their uncle every fucking afternoon. And then they're like, I only take it in the arse. So, you know what I mean? This girl is like that in the fucking show, she's like terrible upbringing. She's lying there being like, I'll let you do anything to me. And he's like, all right then. Oh, Jesus, I suppose. Well, that's me hard as a fucking diamond now. I suppose we'll be having sex, will we? Bro. Green lit. Emphasis on lit. Oh. There's a level of nudity where it's like that girl, it's very pretty, very slight girl, you know what I mean? The dude's good body, got his cock out a few times, whatever, you know what I mean? People are just surprised that they've seen any cock, But they're like, oh my God, get to see his cock. Bro. I've seen a lot of cock in my time. It's all right. Her too. You know what I mean? It's like you can't be fucking getting some real stacked chick to be playing that role, because then it would be indecent. You know, she has to be very arty and mousy and beautiful. You couldn't have some girl just fucking pulling a set of fucking Norks out and then be like, oh Jesus, I'm about to fucking. You gotta watch the show anyway. There's a lot of bucking though, but it's frustrating as fuck. There's a few shows, you know, like Peaky Blinders, where the storyline's that good. And the storyline is good in this, but fuck me, is it frustrating watching these two? You feel yourself walking up and down the living room, my hands on my head, just go, just fucking go HR with you! For fuck's sake! He's lying on the bed going, I'll let you do anything to me. And he's going, what exactly do you mean by that? Are you trying to flirt with me by any chance? You know? Irish dudes like the worst at fucking communication and flirting. Stick, I want you to fucking. You know what I mean? There's one bit where they're on the bed, she fucking flips over, throws her arse in the air, and he goes, do you want to do it like this? Bro. Is there any other way? Anyway, if you want to hear more about that, we'll talk to Maureen on the bonus podcast. We'll be doing that. Anyway, here's some questions. We'll rattle through these questions. We're at 42 minutes here. I didn't realize we were going to get such good feedback immediately. Holy shit. Oh, wait. I wonder... You see, the nightmare is that if I play something through the Patreon app, the link appears. But on the website, I have to fucking look it up myself. Copy it over, which is annoying. I'll stick to the questions. We can get to the links at some point. Hold on, what the fuck is this? Oh yeah, I've seen that video. There's a video where a monkey comes up the street on a bike and like grabs this wee girl by the hair and goes to run off, and you're like, hey, fuck wherever that is. I mean, you know, it's one of those places where they're like, oh, we think that the monkey are holy and they are sacred animals. Meanwhile, they're just like fucking giving everyone rabies and stealing your children. If I was there, like, see all that shit where they're like, oh, I was on holiday in Puerto Rico and a monkey stole my wallet and I had to get it a banana. I'd be like, there's a banana. I just fucking grab by the neck and just smash its face off the ground. Evolution, bitch. Survival of the fittest. Oh, they're scary. Bro, steal my wallet when I volleyed you into a fucking swimming pool, dead. You son of a bitch. When's the new merch out? Evan Barry. Bro, it's an issue. It's a fuck. I mean, honestly, it's like as soon as one thing crops up, or as soon as we feel like we're getting momentum, something falls away, i.e. the internet. Nightmare. But I'm working with Material Goods. They might be handling distribution for me. So that'll be cool. If time and money wasn't an issue, what crazy hobby do you think you would love to get into? Like, I feel like I would love to just be like, well, hobby? Fuck, what does hobby mean? You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, like car collecting, probably. Yeah, I don't know, something stupid like that. We're just like, I just collect a lot of cool cars. It's hard to know. It's hard to fucking know. You know, if you could be a fucking travel vlogger, that's one that it would sort of be like, that's my hobby. See you in fucking Dubai, you son of a bitch. Recommendations for healthy munchies food. Oh, well, it's hard to beat a bit of hummus. Get one of them low-fat hummuses and Healthy munchies. I don't know. You can make a lot of shit with Greek yogurt, like flavor drops that makes you feel like you're eating ice cream. You can also get that protein ice cream. You can eat the full whack for like 300 calories. Healthy munchies, tomato mozzarella, shit like that. Salsas, you know, you can make yourself some Mexican like pico de gallo. Not a lot of fucking. That's fairly healthy. Depends what you're fucking dipping in it. I mean, what does healthy mean? Because you could make guacamole. It's healthy for you, but you eat too much of it, you know, and all of a sudden you've eaten 6,000 calories and you'll shit your pants. Who knows? There's loads of them out there, bro. Cyclist nearly gets ended by a tree. Is this the guy in Belfast? Oh, God. Now, obviously close the street, you dickhead. Ooh. Now, I wonder did that fall prematurely? Because obviously shut the fucking road if you're going to cut a tree down. Unbelievable. Here's another money question. If money wasn't an object, what car would you have? By the way, love the Transblender and Gedzilla shows. Cheers, Shane. Fuck. It's hard to know. It's hard to like pick one, isn't it? Because you would want like a selection of cars, probably. Oh man, I feel like I would have a row of shit that nearly was all the same. You know what I mean? There would be like a lot of estate Mercedes, you know, C63s, E63s. Got all the shit sitting there. CLA 45, you know, and then to mix it up, they're probably like an RS6 estate. And they would just all look the same, but just be all absolute fucking rockets. What the fuck else? I don't know. I don't really have taste for car, like real fucking flash sports cars or anything. I'm sure you get a Porsche thrown in there. I don't know. What are you talking, like GT2 or GT3? I don't know. The joy wouldn't be having one car. Like, the joy would be having as many fucking cars as you wanted. Depending on what you need. You know, you'd be like, I'll have a big fucking giant pickup in there. You know, a G-Wagon. Bunch of fast, like, estate cars. Don't know why, I just like them. You just have a bunch of stupid shit. You know, you'd be like, I'll get an Aston Martin for the crack too. Bentley, don't know why, just want one. I hate those questions because you spiral into just your own mind and you're just sitting there thinking, going, Because money is a lot of money questions here. What is this? You're my Jordan Belford. Because money is an object, how many patrons would it take to put that dildo behind you in your ass? All right, Gary, relax. I don't know if we're at that point yet, sir. I don't know if we're at the putting it in my ass. I would put it in my ass for pleasure before I put it in my ass for money. Imagine putting that up your hole, like, bro. I mean, I was trying to write material once about, like, did I mention this last week about gaping and stuff like that? People are like, oh man, I love it. Got this new girlfriend, she's class, man. I can put my arm in her asshole. You know, but you see those fucking, you kind of don't want your fucking girlfriend or wife to comfortably be able to take a giant cock in her asshole. Welcome back to Colin's Masterclass. Today we'll be learning about cocks and asses. But Gary Cunningham up for the ass play. Joanne Connor, would you like to be a guest on Joe Rogan's podcast? Sure. It's not really a career goal, but sure. Two lads I lived with in uni on the North Coast used to always get away Always get what they call the capizza from the place beside the Anchor Bar. Okay. Donor meat and chips poured over the top of a margarita pizza. It looked absolutely vile. Any horrific university meals for yourself. Now, I've talked about this before. I lived with a bunch of fucking, like, might as well have been rich gay guys, but weren't. That's what it seemed like. Everyone was just walking around there, like, everybody could cook, which was amazing. Like, literally, people would literally take turns to cook and be like, what are you having tonight? I'm having a wee chili. Let's go down to Sainsbury's and see what's on offer. Oh, who's up for fucking, fillet of beef on the side of mustard mash? We didn't really eat much shit. Like, there was one place that did, like, it was actually an Italian place, and then they were doing kebabs, but they put a bit of, like, Italian fucking flair into the kebabs. It was nice and clean and shit like that. But I don't think we ever ate anything that fucking disgusting. Donor meat and chips poured over. I mean, absolutely give me donor meat and chips with some sauce and then just the pizza on the side. I feel they're two worlds colliding that absolutely don't need to collide. You see that in some of those fucking American places where they're like, oh, it's a fucking, it's a double cheeseburger. And then on the outside of that is like, instead of a bap, we've got 2 battered chicken burgers. And then the whole thing is swimming in a bucket of our trademark sauce. And you're like, just unnecessary. Where did we stay? We stayed in Hollywood. I mean, bro, take me back. If I could just live in it was a sweet wee apartment in West Hollywood, I think in LA. And I was just like, bro, I am comfortable here. I am comfortable. Walked up the street. I think the place is called Fat Sal's or something. And again, the side of the building had one of those like Alec Monopoly fucking murals and everything. And I was walking around, I was going, man, into this. The big man is into this. But one night I was like, we'll have to get that. That's almost like a famous food spot. And went up and you just like, I ate it and I was like, why the fuck did I eat that? Very rarely do I eat a thing and be like, that knocked 2 years off my life. I can feel it. But it was just like, it was like dinner time. Maureen was like, she had like a weird time. She wasn't hungry. And then I fucking ate. And it was like a breakfast thing, even though it was a dinner time. So it was like, oh yeah, we got hash browns, we got fries, we got an egg, bacon, sausage, all this shit in this big fucking roll. And they rolled it up. And I ate it. And it was just like unnecessary. I was like, I did not need to fucking eat that heap of shit. Like, but that's America for you, man. You know what I mean? They're just like, why have 500 calories when you can have 2,500 calories before breakfast? Yeah, fuck pizzas. The most important question of all: Xbox, PlayStation, or PC? Bro, I don't play any of that shit, so you're asking the wrong guy. Did you have where the fuck would I get time to do that? I saw a video online and it was a guy and he just turned, I don't even know what it was, a PlayStation or something. He turned it on and bling, bling, like the fucking switch on noise. And the girl in the next room went, are you fucking serious? And just started crying. And I was like, imagine. And there definitely are relationships like that where, the girl is just this fucking PlayStation widow. The guy's like, listen, there's fucking zombies to be killed, so bling. And he's just sitting there playing, and she's just like, oh, just fucking busy myself in the background here, fuck around, do whatever. That's where I always see those videos, like trying to get your man off the PlayStation. The girl's like in a thong, like twerking on his face, and he's like, you fucking, oh my God, bro, don't make me call you an F word. Put that remote down and start laying pipe. I mean, that's probably my problem. You're looking to lay pipe too much, and people are like, back off. What I should do is get a PlayStation and just sit there and ignore the fucking baby, ignore my wife, and just spend 18 hours on it. Maybe get twerked on. Did you have a defining moment that made you pursue a career in stand-up comedy? No. I don't know. What's the defining moment? The defining moment is like, it's all little pieces coming together. So the defining moment would probably be not getting into university in Belfast and having to go to Derry, and then doing a course that I was able to make a video, and then I was able to make like a comedy video, and then I made Iron Fighter, and then I met like Mickey and fucking Shane and Sean Haggerty, all them boys. So the defining moment to send me down that road was probably getting kicked off a course. So there you go, guys. What's for you won't go by you. Sometimes what you view as a failure might actually be helping to grow your character. And then someday you'll be sitting at a desk jamming this up your hole for money, and it's all good. For those listening on audio, giant cock once again. Thoughts on Tyson back hitting the pads? Talk about a charity fight or something. Yeah, have you seen a video of Tyson fucking shredding the pads? Jesus Christ. Still give you the shits like real quick. Just pure power and explosiveness. Do you think recent experiences have put you two off any more kids, or would it be easier? Put you two off having any more kids, or would it be easier? I've heard other people say this too. When you have one child, you're like, how the fuck could you manage two children? And then you get certain people who have like 6, 7 kids, and they're like, listen, see, if you have 2, you can have 8. And you're like, okay. No, I definitely think, if possible, more kids are on the card. Carl Armstrong, shout out to Carl Armstrong. Elton doing his shooting. Oh, mate. Oh, fuck. I don't delete that, you bastard. This was on the One World thing. Terrible. This was...
You can never know what it's like. You blood like when it freezes just like ice. There's a cold and lonely light that shines from you. You wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. And did you think you will never win? Look to me, I'm coming back again. Got a taste of love in a simple way. You need to know I'm still standing. You just fade away. You know I'm still standing there and everything. Looking like a true survivor. Feel like a little kid.
Somebody's subtitled these. It's funny. Do you know what? I just think he's probably sang that song so many fucking times that it's just... He can't even remember where it started. He's like, what does it sound like? And then they play him it, and it sounds good. And he's like, I don't know. I feel like I've just hammered it to death. And then he's just at a piano going, or maybe he's going, this for charity, bitch. You're not getting full Elton. You're getting few gins in, Elton. Tune though. That fucking Rocket Man movie, lethal. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoughts on the Mountain's record of breaking the deadlift? Oh, subsequent Eddie Hall versus the Mountain boxing match challenge. Oh, come off it. So yeah, I think Eddie Hall did a 500k deadlift a while ago, and it, you know, struggle city, like fucking nosebleed, near died. And then the Mountain, full of Bell's palsy and roids, he lifted 501 with what looked like relative ease. And now they're gonna fight each other or some shit. I don't know. Who gives a fuck about that? Like, it's sad times when, and it's happened before with like Logan Paul and stuff, where it's like you could have a higher profile boxing match with two fucking people who can't box at all, and no one could name you like who's the fucking middleweight champion. Like, no one gives a fuck about actual boxing unless you're a handful of like famous boxers. They're about the only ones who make money and whatever. But, you know, two fucking... Now, skill set aside, That will be the fucking worst boxing match. It's going to have to be like 3 30-second rounds with the size of them cunts. There'll just be a lot of like, rah, rah. And also, you know, there's an element of these guys aren't used to being hit, but I'm sure they can hit very fucking hard. And if one of them lands on the other one, you could be talking about fucking serious brain damage. Like, the technique won't be amazing, but you could definitely fucking smash someone's brain into like porridge when you're, you know, 30 stone swinging a dig. But yeah, I don't really have any interest in that. To be honest. I mean, I'll watch the highlights on fucking on Instagram. Also, deadlifting. Isn't it pointless? I do deadlifts all the time. My strongest lift, if I worked on it, is probably my bench. You know, I'm one of those guys where, you know, I've got a fucking deep chest and short arms. And if I really worked on it, I'm sure I could fucking bench press some serious weight. But also for what? In case a fucking fate Chickachento reverses over you. Deadlifting as well. It's like, whatever. Cool. You lift the heavy shit off the floor. Cool. What's your go-to frozen treat now the sun is out? Watched the Odyssey special last night. Class. That was just the most innocent question, followed up by a nice compliment. Go-to frozen treat, bro. Well, we're unable to buy anything. Like, we were watching that Normal People the other night, and the guy goes out to the fucking ice cream van and comes back with 2 rockets, and I was like, bro, I'd suck a rocket out of someone's asshole right now. Love that. Connor O'Toole, watched the SSE gig over the weekend. Even funnier second time. The camera angles from the stage made the crowd seem really dark. Was that the case, or could you see everyone? Yeah, I could see I could see people on the floor. I could see people on the floor, and then obviously when it went up into the stands, it kind of disappeared a wee bit, but sure. Shout out, it's my birthday, spending the day with fiance Verity and 3-month-old baby Cora. Not that I have a choice in the lockdown. Podcasts are brilliant, keep up the work. And that's from Colin McGrath. There's your shout out, bro. Happy birthday. I mean, it's my fucking second wedding anniversary tomorrow, and I tell you what Maureen's getting. Fuck all. Gonna wake up in the morning, high five her and go, tsh. Congrats to you. 2 years of magic, baby. Then I'm gonna go to sleep again. Feed that child. Will the lockdown change how you work? Will it be more skewed towards podcasts, or will you be back doing stand-up predominantly? No, I'll do it. It'll probably be more stand-up based. No, it'll probably be more... I mean, whatever I think it is, I'll probably go back to doing laveries all the time. I'll probably do a handful of gigs, and I'll probably have a tour every fucking year. So yeah, it'll be the same. But I'm thinking like, yeah, it's going to be a lot more podcast based because it works when the shit hits the fan. So, but I feel like, you know, we've set new rules for the podcast. Maybe it took the lockdown to do that. Focus on the Patreon and stuff for a while. Build the audience on there. Got a nice chunk of people on the Patreon now. There's over 1,000, which is like a real fucking little community. But yeah, it's kind of set new standards for me anyway. So we'll go back to doing stand up, and we have the office in Belfast, and that's going to allow me to do podcasts a lot easier, and we'll make it happen. Let me see. Jonathan, do you think now would be a good time to invest in a ticket type company, as pay at the door is completely fucked post COVID-19? Invest in it, maybe. Yeah, cash is dead. But I mean, what does it take? A fucking iZettle? Or whatever they fucking call that shit? Do you think you will ever run, look, Crimble, do you think you will ever run your own entertainment club in Belfast? I know you have laveries, but I mean a standalone building which you could host live events in. comedy nights, music artists, and podcast HQ upstairs. Yeah, I've thought a lot about that. Comedy club would obviously be the fucking number one thing. Music and all that shit be wandering into something I don't really know that much about. But I feel like we could run a comedy club pretty easily. It is just a big stat. Like, we run our night in Lavery's, and Lavery's handle pretty much everything, bar staff, the full infrastructure, and all we do is bring the crowd in, which is very nice at the minute. You'd be taking on a whole lot more shit if you started your own place. But yeah, I think it would be worth thinking about. Like, you know, Lavery's draws a big crowd, but the amount of people who go into Lavery's is probably too much. You know, you would probably want somewhere way smaller to run a comedy club every night. I think there's room for it. Like, people would definitely turn up. What's your thoughts on how the world will be when lockdown is over? I'd be very fucking cautious. What do you think? What do you like at the old? What are you like at the old DIY in the new house? Terrible. I'm not. Do you know what it is? I could start to think about a lot of DIY. You can't even fucking buy anything to do DIY with at the minute. You know, I'm good at painting. Nice and neat painter, you know. But yeah, as regards to, yeah, you'll not find me fucking putting flooring down or tiling or any of that shit. Even though I'd like to be able to tile, I feel like I should be able to do that. But yeah, I would rather just get someone experienced to do it so that they could do it quicker and better than I can do it. But yeah, I'm terrible. But you can't even fucking, you know, I was contemplating buying a thing of paint on fucking Amazon the other day, but I'm not even too sure if they can deliver that. How's the cooking going during lockdown? Tried anything new or want to try anything new? Nah, it's tough. You would really need to plan something ahead. But no, I fucking haven't really tried anything new. One thing I've been getting into a lot is making burgers though. Just from scratch making burgers. Great crack. And any burger, by the way, any burger you buy, whether it be Five Guys or fucking McDonald's or Burger King, whatever, it's disgusting compared to the one you make yourself. See, if you just get mince, like buy good mince out of a butcher's, squish it together a wee bit, salt and pepper, and just cook it the way you cook a steak, throw it in the bap. I feel like it has to be fake cheese for it to be a real burger. Nice wee slice of plastic cheese, and you know, just get all the shit. Get the fucking gherkins in there, onions, lettuce, you know, red sauce, yellow mustard, and mayo if you're feeling like a dirty hair, and eat that. That tastes better than fucking any burger you're gonna buy. It's unbelievable. And somehow it doesn't even seem that disgusting. You know, you make it at home, you're like, oh, this is just like I'm eating a nice sandwich, not like a fucking burger that's going to make me die later in life. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that shit, but yeah, nothing too fucking experimental, really, which is kind of sad. But you need a lot of fresh stuff. You know, say you're cooking a lot of Asian things, you'd need a lot of fresh shit to make it taste half authentic, and you can't really, like, if you're nipping out of your house to buy coriander in this lockdown, you're a ball bag. So I'm not doing that. That's for fucking goddamn sure. Final question here. Thanks for everyone who sent in questions on the Patreon, by the way. And welcome to all the new subscribers and stuff like that. 2 more questions here. Has Mickey Bartlett lost the plot with this dancing ditties? Bro, Mickey Bartlett is one of my best friends, and I've said this before, he fucking disgusts me. Like, it's one bad decision after another. God bless him. He'd buy a fucking, I thought it was a trilby, called it a trilby. He's like, it's actually a fedora. Whatever rape hat it is, it doesn't look good, Michael. And he's like, no, I genuinely think it looks good. And you're like, okay. Maybe in the lockdown scenario, walk outside in the street for a minute in Lurgan. You fucking stupid cunt. Where's your saxophone? But yeah, he'll make his teddies dance on Instagram. And, you know, I don't know what the difference between that and an OnlyFans is, really, to be honest. Disgusting. And Mickey Bartlett legit thinks he's a ride too. That's the bit that is really funny. He fucking, you know what I mean? Make his tits dance and be like, bro, when this lockdown's over, I'm gonna need armbands to swim in the amount of fanny that I'll be getting. Oh fuck, grim. But yeah, whatever gets you through the lockdown, my man. All I like to think is anytime he's dancing with his titties out on Instagram is a few more minutes of the day where he's not absolutely wrecked out of his mind drinking. Top 3 Holy Grail sneakers. We'll end on that. Oh God. Well, Holy Grail globally, or what I think are like the top 3 snakes. For fuck's sake. For me, I don't know. Like, if there's a pattern emerging in my shoe collection, it's Vans, you know, the fucking old school Vans in a multitude of colors. I feel like it's a great multi-purpose shoe. It's you buy a pair of Vans, you gotta fucking really put some work in to like destroy them. Can't stop getting them. You buy a pair. Oh, the green with a gum sole. There's pink with a gum sole. I need the pink ones too. You know, just fucking can't stop buying them. So for me, it would be like Vans. What other shit keeps popping up? Oh, man. Don't know. Like, New Balance is a new thing for me. I'm a big fan of those Converse Pro fucking whatever the fuck they were, like old school high top or like tennis shoes nearly, which I wore in the Odyssey gig. They're the shit. Oh man, this is fucking killer. Because there's a lot of shoes I know were Holy Grail, like the Jordans and the fucking low dunks and whatever. I don't wear those that often though. So that's a weird one. Jesus Christ. What am I wearing right now? New Balance. The 997s, are they? But I wouldn't say they're Holy Grail shoes. Oh, I'm gonna have to think about that. That's fucked me up. That's fucked me up on a last question. I'd say for me, Vans are like the fucking, like if you looked at all my shoes laying out, you'd be like, okay, he has Vans. He's got a lot of fucking Vans going on there. Big fan of Nike shoes, but then when I think about like flashy Nike shoes that I don't really have that many. When I really fucking stop and think about it, a few pairs of Air Max. But again, I don't even really like them that much. I like the look of them, but I don't like wearing them. You know, I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I think, you know, the fat skater in me would say Vans. or some types of Converse, like the all leather Converse. Big fan of those. And then the rest is me just taking a look at something and going, I like the colour of that. Buying a pair of pink fucking, what do you call them, X90s? Those New Balance ones. I don't know. I've got the worst collection of shoes for a guy that's like really into shoes. But you know, I've watched the Michael Jordan documentary now, so no doubt the Jordans are coming. You know, and I'm going to walk around with them all fucking untied and all, thinking I'm gangster. Like a fucking asshole. Anyway, my folks, I'm going to take this fat dildo, stick it in my ass and get out of here. Thanks for listening. We're down to 1 bar battery here, so I'm going to have to get the fuck out of here. Cheers for listening. If you want a bonus podcast, I'm going to record another one this afternoon with my wife. We're probably going to talk about Normal People, the TV show. Yeah, sign up to the Patreon. You can come in at whatever entry level you want. I was thinking about putting a tiered payment on the special there, but then there's part of me thinking, you know, if there's people can't work at the minute, or they're getting less money than they're used to getting, and they want to contribute, but they can't contribute that much. I would hate to think. I'd rather you see it for $1 than fucking not be able to afford it for fucking 5 or 10. So, just, you know, it's a contribution setup. Every little helps. But yeah, over in the Patreon, you'll get the 2 specials. The 2, one was recorded last year at the Limelight. One was recorded at the Odyssey this year. So you're talking like 2.5 hours of comedy there. Plus bonus podcasts every week. So there you go. Cheers for listening, guys, and we'll be back next week. Take her easy. Big kisses.